So good afternoon to all of you. So is it audible to all of you? Okay, fine. So today actually I will take the attendance. So I will share a link, that is Google, that is attendance link I will share with you. So attendance link I will share with you, and that attendance link you fill up within 15 minutes, and you just enter, you just find your name, and just there will be your name will be there in this side, and here is present or absent. So there will be below your name, there will be box will be there. Okay, so if your name is Pratik, so just if you are present, just click the present and you submit. Okay, so today I will share that link to you so that I will take attendance. And because it is not possible to take the attendance, so I have created a Google link. So after the class, I will share with you in the WhatsApp group. So today we will start this topic, that is called friction. Okay, so friction, do you know what it is? A resistive force. Okay, so it has a different names. When you talk about the solid body, and if you apply external force, then the body will resist. Why the body will resist? Because of the roughness, because the body is rest on a plane. Okay, because that if that will be very smooth, then the friction magnitude will be very less. If the surface, or we can say the contact surface with which the body has been placed on that surface, if it is very rough kind of thing, then there will be lots of mass of friction will be there. So friction, this is external force. So what will happen, there will be a resistive force, that is called friction. It will always acts opposite to that of external force. Okay, it always acts opposite to that of external force, and its magnitude, friction magnitude, is always be equal to the applied external force until and unless the body is in static equilibrium condition. Okay, because there I already told you there is two state. One is called static, second one is called dynamic. Okay, there is two state of the body. If the body is static, then it will be static coefficient of friction. If the body is in moving condition, or it is already it is in kinetic condition, so there we can use the kinetic coefficient of friction. The static coefficient friction is always be constant, it will not be changed. But this kinetic coefficient of friction, it is not been constant, it is always changing, depend upon the how the body is sliding. So in your syllabus, the static condition part is there, dynamic is not there. Only D'Alembert's principle small part, that is kinetic equation, v square equal to u square plus 2h, that is something basic things are there. Just What's that one? So, coefficient of friction. We already read about this topic in our plus 2 or in our after the 10th intermediate. We have read already covered this topic. So, friction is, that is mu coefficient of friction into this is normal reaction. This is normal reaction. So, I already do, and this mu, the coefficient of friction, that is tan of theta, or that is we can say phi, better you can say, and the phi is nothing but it is called angle of friction. Okay, angle of friction, and this Fr is generally this is called limiting friction or friction, and R is called, this is we can say R, that is called normal reaction between two body. So better we can say by doing this is a body and this is placed in this one. If you, there will be just it is placed, there will be a external force will act on this body, and if you draw the free body diagram of the body, if you draw the free body diagram of the body, this is our external force. Okay, and this is my resistive force, this is called friction, this is friction resistive force, and this weight of the body will act downward, this is my weight of the body, and this is my normal reaction, normal reaction. So this friction will be always equal to, this friction will always equal to mu into n. So n you need to find, mu will be given to you, in one case mu will be given to you, so only you need to find out the n, this normal reaction. So this normal reaction is what? This normal reaction is always equal to the weight of the body. Normal equation is only, just you remember, remind I'm just reminding one thing to you, that we always talk about the static condition. Okay, the body is not in dynamic condition, so the static coefficient of friction is in your part. So static coefficient friction means always if we use the static equilibrium equation. What is? So net force in x direction will be equal to 0. So net force in y direction will be equal to 0. These two equations you need to use to find out the, either you have to find out the weight of the body, either you have to find out the external force of the body, either you have to find out the coefficient friction of the contact surface and in between the body, so whatever it may be. So just you have to use the static equilibrium condition. Okay, so I have segregated this topic into three parts. Okay, so first we will discuss about the body is subjected to horizontal body, means the body is in horizontal position. Okay, so this is the body and the force are acting parallel to the surface. Second case I have divided that the body which is placed and that is subject to some kind of inclined force. Okay, in third case I have actually divided the body is placed in inclined at some angle theta, and fourth case we will discuss, so a body is there over another body and that will be subjected to some kind of forces. So these are the four types of problem you will get. Out of this there is no other problem is there, these are the basic problem. So most of the student will be confused in this type 3 and type 4 kind of thing. So that will be clear, I will make clear. So this is very easy, it is very convenient for the student point of view, but these two things are really, you have to use your mind, some kind of logic will be there. Okay, so fine. So laws of static friction, so this is very important. Until and unless you don't know what are the laws of static friction, it will quite difficult, as I said, difficult for the student to know the friction. So these 5 points are very important, you need to remember. So following are the laws of static friction. I always talk about static friction. Okay, so this the force of friction always acts in a direction opposite, in a direction opposite to that in which body tends to move. If the force of friction would have been absent. Okay, so what is he saying? Suppose this is a body which is subjected to some kind of external force, then the force of friction is always act opposite to that of movement of the body. The body is moving in this direction, so the friction will act in opposite direction. So opposite also, vice versa will also happen. If the force will be opposite direction, friction also will opposite. Second point is talking about the magnitude of the force of friction is exactly equal to the force which tends to move the body. I told you. So as far as static friction point is concerned, so the magnitude of external force is always equal to this friction force. The magnitude always be equal, not that much, because the body is not moving; it is just about to move. Okay, that is the point. So third point, the magnitude of the limiting friction be or a constant ratio to the normal reaction. So this, as far as the static friction is concerned, so this friction divided by this normal reaction R or may whatever you can call it, that is always the constant ratio, that is called coefficient of friction. Okay, that is always be constant, that will not change in the case of static friction, but as far as the dynamic friction is concerned, that may be changed. Okay, mu k, this is mu s. Okay, mu s. So fourth point, the force of friction is independent of the, this is very very important point, this fourth point is very important, you need to understand. The force of friction is always independent of the area of contact. Always it is independent of the area of contact in between two surfaces. Have you got any area of what? Have you identified an area of what in friction? No. Friction is just will be equal to mu into normal reaction. Okay, so area of what is certain. So always somebody will ask in objective point of view or in interview, friction depends on area of the contact. If area will be more, friction will be more. No, it is not depend upon the area, so that is wrong point. So area, suppose there will be large body and you are playing for large friction will happen. No, that is not depend upon the area on which the body is contact. Okay, so this is very very important point, you need to remember, this is from objective point of view also. Fourth point. Fifth point, the force of friction depends upon the fourth of friction, the force of friction depend upon the roughness of the surface. This is very genuine thing. Okay, that is, I think you can get it. The surface will be very rough, then the magnitude of friction also will be very high, because the coefficient of friction will increases. Okay, because the coefficient of friction will increases, so that is the result because of that one. Now this is the case one, because this is the case one. I can say equilibrium of body on a rough horizontal plane. Okay, first you read the problem, then you understand it, then you will solve the problem. Okay, first you read the problem. So a body weight 300 Newton is actually lying. A body of 300. So body of 300 newtons is lying on a rough horizontal plane having coefficient of friction is 0.3. Find the magnitude of force which can move the body while acting an angle of 25 degree with horizontal. This is very easy problem. You can draw the free body diagram. So the free body diagram will be this. This is the external force. Suppose this is external force P, and this is the body on which it is acting at angle 25 degree. And if you draw the free body diagram, this is the weight of the body is acting, and this is my coefficient of friction, and this is the normal action acting upward. So now here it is asking to find out the magnitude of the P. Okay, so here it is asking to find out the magnitude of the P. So same thing. What is, we know this coefficient of friction F will be equal to mu into R, that is equation 1. Okay, fine. So here I need to find out first friction, coefficient of friction is given to me, R I need to find out. Okay, so first I will use my static equilibrium equation. Summation of force in x direction will be equal to 0, because the body is in static equilibrium condition, always remind. Okay, so what are the force? So this is my sign convention, this is my positive x and this is my positive y axis. Okay, so what are the forces are acting in x direction? So if you resolve this P4, because this is not in our reference axis, so this will be my P cos 25 and this is my P sine 25. Okay, so this is P cos 25 degree and this is my positive and this will be minus my friction. Okay, this is my FR, better you write FR. This is FR. So minus FR will be equal to 0. So no other forces are there. Okay, so no other forces are there. So I can write here P cos 25 degree, FR will be equal to mu into N, mu into this normal reaction, that is R. Okay, so this is equation 2 you write. Next next you can use static equilibrium equation. Net force in y direction will be equal to 0. Next for equilibrium equation you can use. So what are the forces in y direction? That is normal reaction R plus this is P sine 25 degree minus your weight will be equal to 0. So here from this equation you can find out this P sine 25 degree will be equal to weight will be 300 minus this is R. This is my equation 3rd. So now you divide equation 2 and 3. Okay, you can solve any other way. Divide equation 2 and equation 3. So if you divide, so how much you are getting? This is P sine 25 divided this is P cos 25 will be equal to 300 minus R divided by mu into R. So this is coming out to be 1025 degree will be equal to 300 minus R by mu into R, this is 0.3 into R. So if you solve this equation, so here from this equation you can find out what is the R magnitude. So how much R magnitude is coming out to be? So you can solve it. So R magnitude, after finding out, we can find out the you can put in equation 1 value, you can find out the P. Okay, so this is R, you can find out, you calculate how much R you are getting, then after you just put this R value in equation 2 value. Okay, so here you can find out the P value. Otherwise you can put also equation 3, you can find out P value. So this is the process by which you can solve. Okay, this is the second. A body resting on a rough horizontal plane and that is required a pull of 180 Newton inclined at 30 degree to the plane, just move it. Okay, it was found that a force of 220 Newton inclined to 30 degree to the plane, just move the body. Determine the weight of the body and the coefficient of friction. So here it is asking to find out the weight and mu. So here you need to draw the free body diagram of the body. Until and unless you cannot draw the free body diagram of the body, that will be very difficult for you to analyze and solve the problem. So first of all, you understand the problem clearly, then you try to solve the problem. Okay. So first read the problem carefully, then you solve it. So here the free body diagram, if you draw, this is the case of 180 Newton pull. Okay, and here this is FR1, this is normal reaction, this is weight, and it is saying, and this is case 1. Better you can, this is case 1, Another case, it is saying there is a push of 220 Newton. This is the another figure diagram. This is case 2. This is case 2 FBD, and this is case 2 FBD. Okay, so from this we need to find out two equation, and after that we have to find out weight and mu. First observe the case 1. First observe the case 1. So this force is not in our references. First let draw the resolution of this force in our x and y axis. Same thing, you need to take positive x and positive y axis. This is my positive x. So here this is my equation. This is fr1 will be equal to, this is f1, or better you can say this is fr1 and this is fr2, friction. Friction always is opposite. So this is mu into this is r1. This is my equation number a. Okay, fr1 will be equal to mu into r1. So here we have to find out the equation r1 what is. So same thing, so here better you use, so equilibrium equation. This is first summation of f of x will be equal to 0. So what are the forces acting in x direction? This is my positive x, positive y. So this is 180 cos 30. This will be 180 cos 30 degree, and this will be 180 sin 30 degree. So 180 cos 30 positive minus f of r. This is 180 cos 30 degree minus f of r1 will be equal to 0. So from here, what is f of r1 will be equal to 180, that is cos 30 degree. So f of r we know, that is mu into this is r1 will be equal to 180 cos 30 degree. Okay, let this is equation b. This is equation b. So now use, I am talking about the case 1. Okay, this is my case 1. So here now use net force in y direction will be equal to 0. Net force in y direction will be equal to 0. So what are the forces are acting y direction? So this is r1, 180 sin 30, and this is w. So I can write this is r1 plus 180 sin 30 degree minus w will be equal to 0. So from here r1 is how much? This is w minus 180 sin 30 degree. This is equation C. So now you put this equation C in equation 1. Put equation C in equation B. So how much this is? Mu we need to find it. Mu, or better you can so this is mu. So static equation, so this is one coefficient of friction will not change. So this is mu into r1 is how much? W minus 180 sin 30 degree. Okay, and will be equal to 180 cos 30 degree. So this is equation, better you can say D, equation D. Okay, now you talk about the case 2. Now you talk about the case 2. So here we got one equation. So another equation you will get from the second case. This is the case 2. Okay, this is case 2. So here same thing. You take the component resolution of these two forces along the x direction, that is 220 cos 30 degree, and this is 220 sin 30 degree. So now if you take net force in x direction will be equal to 0. So what are the force acting in x direction? So this is Fr2 is acting in positive reference axis, so that is Fr2 friction 2 minus, that is 220, that is sine sorry, that is 220 cos 30 degree will be equal to 0. 220 cos 30, so this is will be equal to Fr2 will be equal to, this is 220 cos 30 degree. Okay, so what is Fr2? This is mu into this is R2 into this is 220 cos 30 degree. Okay, so let equation, this is E. Okay, this is equation E. So now what are the forces acting in y direction? So what are the forces are acting in y direction? That is weight, and this is R2, and this weight is acting, this is R2 is acting, and this is 220 sine 30. So we can write it down that summation of all the forces is y direction equal to 0. So what are the forces acting in y direction? That is positive R2 minus, that is W plus how much? 220 sine 30 degree will be equal to 0. From here we can find out the R2. What is R2? That is W plus 220 sine 30 degree. So this is R2 will be equal to 220 plus W. Okay, so this is equation F. Now put this equation F in equation E. So how much we are getting? So that is mu into W plus 220 sine 30 degree will be equal to, this is 220 cos 30 degree. So now this is equation G. Now can you solve these two equations? Because two unknown are there and there is two equation. This is another equation and this is another equation. So if you, there is two unknown mu and W and two equation. So if you solve these two equation, you will get the mu value and this W value. Okay. So this is the entire thing for today class. Okay, this is the entire thing of today class. So in next class we will talk about the block in stack manner, because one another block above another block, another small block, and subjected to horizontal load. Okay, this is another case, and I will talk about tomorrow class. Next I will discuss about the body which is in an inclined plane. Suppose this is subject to 1 and 2 body, and that is how W is acting. So having angle theta. So the body subjected to one kind of inclined load. So that we will discuss in tomorrow class. So I hope this lecture will be clear to you. So thank you for today class. Thank you, and I will share the attendance link. So please enter your name and have a good day. Thank you.